They're saying that shooting ostriches at night in view of their terrified flock mates violates the CFIA's own guidelines and may be criminal animal cruelty. We are demanding, we being Animal Justice, an investigation into those involved in directing and carrying out this massacre. Mario, we'll start with you. Is this going to go anywhere, or is it going to be the CFIA and their ministerial masters saying your concerns are noted, move along? What's going to happen, my friend?
I think they're going to continue down the same path as what they've done before, and this is typical government. I mean, they're going to make it as expensive and long as humanly possible. They're going to basically drag this as long as they possibly can. They're going to throw a bunch of different delays, books. I mean, it's just anything litigation against the government, they're going to make it extremely expensive, brutal, and they're going to find some sort of a loophole around it. Like I mean, look what happened with the trucker convoy protest. I mean, they lost, and they're appealing the decision. They have no respect for the rule of law. The only thing that they respect is winning, and that's their focus. Is they want to basically send a message. And I think Drea kind of hit the nail on the head, where she basically said, like, this is, if they allow them to win this time, is going to create other problems for them in the future. And so they're going to basically stomp them to the ground, and they're going to make an example of them. And I think that's what this was. I think it's a very vindictive approach, and it's very on par with what we expect with the Liberal government.
You know, it reminds me, David, of the tagline from Jaws 4, an awful movie, by the way, but this time it's personal. And, you know, David, one thing I want to bring up, and I brought this up in the past, when it comes to animal husbandry in Canada, the rules seem all over the map. Right now, we have an ongoing scandal happening at Marineland. There are all these beautiful beluga whales and dolphins and seals that are in neglect at this closed amusement park in Niagara Falls. And the owner is now saying to the federal government, look, either pay me for their feed, or I'm going to slaughter them. In Toronto, downtown Toronto, Liberty Village, we have a coyote problem. That's a heavily urban area. And the city's idea to address this was not to put down these apex predators, but put up signs saying, and I'm not making this up, get to know your coyote neighbor. Okay, hi neighbor, my hands are gone. David, it's all over the map. It's insane. It's almost like a Monty Python sketch. How do you square this circle in terms of how we deal with animal rights in Canada?
Well, it shocked me to begin with that there weren't more animal rights activists there.
Yes.
No, it didn't really, because we know these activists are in the pocket of the Marxist Carney government, and they really didn't want to cause much of an uproar. But I'm a little more optimistic in terms of change. I had a veterinarian on my show this morning, Dr. Chris Wilson, and we talked about the pushback that's going on right now from veterinarians and from whistleblowers within the CFIA, who are absolutely appalled and disgusted that this organization has gone so rogue, so off the rails, that it is just unconscionable. This was not just an inhumane exercise in so-called euthanasia. It was inhuman. And it was absolutely appallingly disgusting. This is what this adds up to for Canada. And there's a growing grassroots movement that I am discovering from people who are contacting me, and I'm sure they're contacting Drea as well, and they're contacting anybody else who gave a damn about this story, to say that there's pushback coming, because the stamping out policy is not only out of step with the World Organization for Animal Health, which is now suggesting quarantine, not stamping out, that there is a demand that the government of Canada wake up and realize it is not even dispensing the talking points of the World Health Organization anymore. It is on its own very dangerous path. And there is common sense out there in the medical community who are saying this must stop because it is absolutely unacceptable.
What if those who were once called conspiracy theorists turned out to be right again? Okay. Okay. A new study by Korean doctors claimed that COVID vaccines raise the risk of 6 cancers, including lung, breast, and prostate. Researchers analyzed health records from more than 8.4 million adults between 2021 and 2023, and their findings were published in Biomarker Research, a respected scientific journal. Critics dismiss it, but the data raises concern that spike protein exposure may be tied to long-term health risks. Dr. Peter McCullough has been aware of this since 2020, which is why he collaborated with the wellness company to create the Ultimate Spike Detox, designed to help your body clear spike proteins, reduce inflammation, and support health. With natural ingredients like nattokinase, I think is how you say that, dandelion root, and bromelain. It is your daily proactive defense from a mandate virus. Don't wait until symptoms strike or something unexpected happens. Experience the only formula approved and used by Dr. McCullough, one of the top doctors who risked it all. Head to twc.health/rebel and use code REBEL, cap locks, to get 10% off, plus free shipping. Again, that's twc.health/rebel and use code REBEL to get 10% off and get back to feeling better post-COVID.
Andrea, to David's point, I didn't know until just 5 seconds ago that this runs afoul of World Health Organization talking points. I thought that's who the scientists in Ottawa take their marching orders from. What are you hearing about this issue?
Well, that's what I was referring to when I mentioned the World Organization for Animal Health. That is from the WHO. And really, most of our troubles in Canada are rooted in these oligarch, 1% run foreign entities such as the UN, the WHO, the WEF. But David's right to say that it was superseded. They conveniently, during the case, would point to the the WHO, if you will, and say, this is coming down from this organization, everybody does it. But then when they would go over and above, they would have no explanation for that. So that's part of it. And I actually share David's optimism. I don't think a lot of people understand that these birds already have not been slaughtered in vain. Okay, that needs to be really said. And probably, David, you can tell it by your emails. I can tell it by my emails when I run into people in person. There are so many people who never heard of Rebel News, who are just really confused about why the mainstream media is reporting things like the birds were that same scientist saying that the birds were basically too tall to test, therefore must die. Like they, on a very basic level, know healthy animals should not die and you're not sick from something you caught a year ago. So this has really shook a lot of people to the core. I've gotten so messages, people saying my mom has been bawling for 3 days. They don't want to get out of bed. So this is one of those moments that I would compare to the trucker convoy, not about the physical presence, but the effect it's had. And also to just go on, I did an interview with one of the culling industry whistleblowers about this issue. They are appalled. According to this individual, they're disgusted for what they saw on the method that the CFIA took. The individual I interviewed said, it's almost like they just did it the most barbaric way possible to teach the farmers a lesson, to show the world this is what's going to happen. I mean, these animals are very fast running. They did not secure them one by one and do the humane shot to the head. They put them in an area where, of course, they're going to be running. They're easily spooked birds. They flashed the floodlights on and off, and they blasted at them. I was there. It was so many shots. I didn't sit there counting. I was trying to cover things. The people who counted claim I've heard between 600 and 900 shots for what the CFIA is saying is 314 birds. Meaning, how are you hitting that small head while they're moving? This is the sickest thing. And people can see that. So it's woken up a lot of people, including in that industry that works closely with the CFIA to humanely kill birds. They're speaking out the best way they can.
And, Mario, to Drea's point of the way in which they were slaughtered, I know Ezra made this point that when the sun came up, there were additional gunshots heard, which can only mean one thing, that birds they thought were dead were actually suffering throughout the night. They were wounded. What do you make of the way in which these birds were put down? And does Animal Justice have a point here that the CFIA is guilty of breaking its own rules and regulations?
Again, as an outsider kind of looking in, and I obviously don't have the information that you all have on this, I mean, it was very barbaric, and it was very repulsive. It never occurred to me. Honestly, I thought the snipers originally there, when I had heard about it, I thought they were there as like security detail, like so people, like a SWAT team, basically making sure that no one's attacking our CMP officers. I literally thought that's what they were for. I didn't realize they were there to actually kill the birds. It just seems like something that you'd expect, from Iran or Iraq, right? Like it's almost like a third world country. I thought that there would be a much more humane way of doing it. I figured there's going to be some sort of an injection, and they were going to go ahead and do that. But I had no idea it was going to be this type of basically a bloody massacre.
You like the hat? Me too. Same strong message about making Canada great again, but in a really cool color, black and gold. There's other colors available, and it's an all Canadian site. So if you want to signal your tribe or trigger a Liberal, go to mcgahats.ca today.